or say okay or whatever to a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Done.
All right, so we are going live. Oops, on Facebook.
Now you have to let me in.
I know I'm trying to do three things at one time, Joanne. Hold on.
I
Okay,
just let you in, Joanne.
thanks.
Yep. Rochelle, you were faster than I was admitting.
If you're let in twice, Miss Joanne, then we're gonna get
So mute one
reverb.
of your items.
It looks like.
Almost. I'm still typing.
Oh, good. Okay.
I can't spell my own name. Sorry.
Well, it's
All right,
early on a Saturday.
share on my page and then select a page. Upper Midwest Bead Society. Go live. Go live. Hopefully it's working. So we so appreciate you all. Oh my gosh. Oh, come on. Unsupported request. Come on.
Oh, we're live.
We're live.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Yay! Welcome,
Everybody.
everybody. We're so excited that you're here with us today. I'm Rochelle J, and this is the Upper Midwest Bead Society Let's Bead Live. We've got so many fun things going on here. Our November meeting. Welcome everyone on Zoom, everyone on Facebook. And so, our president, Jan, why don't you start off with our current status of our ongoing fundraiser we've got.
Thanks to everyone who participated in the fundraiser. So far, we have raised over $1,800 on the fundraiser, which is totally amazing. The proceeds from the fundraiser are going to go to the Peace Chain Project. It's a great deal. But the things that were up for sale were worth much more than what people paid for them. So I think everybody got a good value out of it as well. Um, the fundraiser goes until midnight Monday night, so you still have time to shop and check out what's left. But again, thanks to everybody who participated. It was really an amazing effort by Hannah, by Rochelle, by Sonia to put everything together. We really appreciate it. Back to you, Rochelle.
Super duper. And we are having issues on Facebook again. It keeps going in and out. So I am trying to get it on again.
Oh
So
wow.
if anybody also sees it, like I say, we're setting up, we're doing everything we can. Um, it says we're live, but then it stops and it says unsupported. So let me know how it's going. Anybody out there? Um, at the moment. Um, we've got our fundraiser going for our Peace Chain project. We're so darn excited that it is started around the world. Toho Beads has got their um, live workshop on 11/22. So anywhere that you would like to join, if you want to head to Tokyo and go join them, they're having a great, lots of fun on the 22nd of November. And so otherwise you can join me at our workshops every single Wednesday at Lotus Beads and Jewelry from 2 to 5 p.m. And it's a free workshop. Just learn how to seed bead, any kind of fun stitch, and or string them up. We have beads for you, so that way you don't have to bring your own. You can just use all of our fun stuff. And so we're so darn excited that you can join us. Um, does anybody have any more suggestions? It kind of just says we're setting up. Do you see us?
Let me take a
Live
look.
on Facebook. Okay, keep saying connection has timed out. So, I'm keep doing this. And then it keeps saying prepare to live stream, setting up your Facebook Live.
It looks like we're on.
But it goes on for like a minute and a half and then it goes done, redirecting to my page. All right, super duper. We are live now and we love to share with everyone. And so excited that you could join us. And we are going to um, try to share around to everyone. So we're excited that you could join us today. So, Hannah, let's see, or now that we know we're totally live, next up on our thing is our holiday party.
Right. Oh, that's going to be fun.
We're so darn excited. Who's going to talk about the holiday party?
Do you have pictures of the project on your laptop, Miss Rochelle?
I have them on my phone. Oh my gosh. I messaged them to you.
I know, and I
I
forgot
messaged
to.
them to Paulette. I messaged them to everybody.
Well,
Um,
let's just talk about it then. I've
So we're so darn
unfortunately.
excited. And so it's a wonderful little ornament that we're going to make at our holiday party. This is December 1st, um, at the Edina Senior Center. And it will be, um, a ornament netted project. So it's about 1 inch, 1.16 inch is the ornament size. So you can wear them as earrings or you can hang them on the tree. And we've got a couple fun little netted patterns for you. And so we're providing the balls for you. And so you just need 2 colors of 11O seed beads. And if you want to add fringe, of course, any kind of fun accent beads, or in your net that you meet, you could add pearls, you could add drops, like little 3x4 drops or megatamas, or so there we go, perfect. So this is the one with little pearls and the netting, and that's just an 11O with a little 3 millimeter pearl.
If you go
And
further down, you'll see Rochelle's picture. Keep going down with the
and so
friend.
I did mine a little lightweight because I was making mine as earrings. So
We're still working on this, but
Go back up, Jan.
oh, go back up.
Yeah, you missed the one with the fringe. Slowly, slowly, keep going.
Well, we're back into Chris's pattern. Don't we want to be? Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
no, keep going.
Oh, there
There.
it is.
there it is. There it is. So you can make it just plain and simple, with a larger net, or you can add cute little fringe with that. And so then it's about 3 inches total with that particular type of fringe. So it makes a fun earring for the holidays. So there's a lot of neat different ways. And so, like I said, these balls are, like the size of a ping pong ball. And then it's got the little
And then you can
topper
go
on it.
further down and look at Chris's
Yeah, she's got ones with cute little drops.
friend.
So the holiday party, we are going to have so many fun door prizes. So you got to come early. Open beading starts at 4 o'clock, and we're gonna start giving out door prizes at 4:30.
Right there.
So come on down. And then we also are giving away Toho mini challenge kits to somebody online and somebody in the room. And then we'll have show and tell at 6, and then we'll start creating these wonderful ornaments at 6:30. And
I
so
heard
join
there's
us
going to be.
early.
I heard there's going to be cupcakes and sparkling water too.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
indeed.
That
And
sounds
so
fun.
regular cupcakes and gluten free. So we're
Nice.
trying to be totally inclusive. So please come on down early, join the fun. And like I said, there's door prizes for everybody that shows up in person. And
So you guys are going to be giving the ornaments, but people should bring 5 ounces of a main color, right? 2 ounces, two. I'm sorry, not ounces. Five
Graham.
grams of a main
Mhm.
color, 2 grams of an accent color, and then accent beads if you want fringe, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you need an 11 knot needle. And what kind of thread do you guys recommend?
I really think that the 4 or 6 pound fire line worked the best. I did it with Toho 1G because I really wanted my fringe to hang nicely, but then I had to really reinforce around the net twice, which is fine, but just know that if you're using a 1G, you really want a nice tight, so therefore wax your thread, you'll get a better feel, or at least that was my um the 8 pound fire line I tried once, and my student had a hard time getting through some of the beads again. So I don't really recommend the 8 pound fire line. Use the 6 and reinforce, and you'll get a better
So
feel.
Rochelle, I split it. On the main part, I would use Fireline, and on the fringe, I would use 1G.
Oh, that
Ah,
might work
okay.
I
nicely.
put in the document, I put information about you can use Fireline or other thread, but to definitely use a nylon like 1G or whatever for the
Mhm.
fringe.
Now,
Hannah,
is this document already up on our website or?
No, we're still in
I
the
typed
review
it.
mode, so it'll be there shortly.
Oh,
Yeah, so
nice. Okay,
you see it, they're editing it right now to make sure it's
right.
correct. So it will be there for everyone with both patterns on there with both counts. So that way you can have fun. And so if you have long fringe, you're going to need more of that main bead. So that's the only thing is, but
And the pattern is written for a 1 1/16 inch ball.
yeah, it's a very common size. If you scroll up, can you show the box that it came out of again? There it is right there. My Little Christmas. And this of course, unfortunately, is from Hobby Lobby, but you can get them on Amazon, you can get them all over. So it is a very common size in many, many colors.
And you can
Love.
adapt it to different size balls. It's just that the
Hmm.
pattern is written to that particular ball.
So
Hannah,
once
Hmm.
you go ahead and
uh,
you learn the one, then you can adapt other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hannah, I put the bead counts in the pattern, but what are the actual grams that you stated?
Oh, I was told 5 grams of a main color and then 2 grams of an accent color.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it's just that if I just used a 11 seed bead in red as my accent, so if you're using like that 3 millimeter pearl, then you're gonna have one for every single intersection there. So on there you can count how many, in seed beads, if that's intersection beads, that's the 2 grams of seed beads for that accent.
I counted all the beads and actually put the counts in there for
Oh,
everything.
nice.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Paulette. You're the best.
Count out 300 and some odd beads and say, well, how much is that a crack? Could have waited, but I didn't.
Well, exactly, because we're talking about drops and going, oh, wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great if the Bead Society provided drops? And I'm like, 40 people times how many drops? I think that would be, a lot. So we're providing the ball. So bring your 11 O's and your accent beads.
And your
Um,
favorite beading thread and a needle.
yeah, super duper easy. So,
So that is our holiday party. That sounds really exciting. And I think we have a wonderful Saturday Bead Live up in December as well, don't we?
we do. Is that what, December 13th?
Let me
It
see.
is
Some
Saturday the
nuts.
13th, and obviously same time, same station as what we're doing today. And I've got a video share here. I set out the samples for the kits that I've made up for the coin toss bracelet.
Everybody, this is Maggie.
Oh yeah, sorry. I should introduce myself, Maggie. A little tacky. Anyway, so these kits are now on my website. Um, $35 including postage anywhere in the US. Obviously I don't ship international much anymore. It's gotten a little tricky to do that. But I've got a copper one, a silver one, and a gold one. And these are Chinese coins.
Cool.
And then it, and in the kit, this whole center part is already done for you. with the cords connected on the side. So all you have to do is take this and hang it, down from your disc, load all your beads and braid it on each side.
Oh, wow. That's fabulous.
And it's
You
so
know,
pretty, isn't it?
tie it off and just like that. And these are really lightweight magnets. I think these are ceramic. If
That's
I'm
pretty.
if I remember that right. Anyway, they are not as heavy as the normal metal ones. So
That
that
is so exciting.
And once
that's
again,
for
that's on December 13th is when we'll be
and
doing that.
I'll go in the chat and put my website address on there just
Oh,
in
super.
case.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if you're on Facebook, could you put it on Facebook for us too, or on the comments in the video later on Facebook, so then people who are watching on Facebook um could put it in there too, or
Yes.
see
Speaking of
it.
which, if you guys are on Facebook and watching, welcome. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we will get to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rochelle, let's talk about the fundraiser one more time because
Oh
I
my
think
gosh,
we were
sure will.
still,
All
I
right. So
think we were,
Maggie, do you want to stop sharing and then
Yes,
we
sorry.
will
We'll
no
do that.
worries. You're so good.
that's so
Um
pretty.
it is just such a great time. We have done the best ever on our fundraising. It is almost over. There's only one day left, right, Hannah?
We go until Monday night
Oh,
at
two
midnight
days.
Central Time, which would be Pacific Time. It would be 10 p.m. on 10 p.m. So
And we really want to have a special thanks to some of our main donations that came from Maggie Thompson and all the different designers. And we had a special donation from one special woman, didn't we, Jan?
Yes. It was a huge donation. This the woman and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name. We
Purnell?
Yes,
yeah,
Mike
Purnell is the
Purnell was the
last name.
husband who was searching for the Minnesota Bead Society per instructions from his late wife to donate her incredible bead supply. Um, and after 2 years, he found us. And Doris Coghill, bless her heart, drove out couple of hours west of the Twin Cities to pick up this donation and filled the back of her. She had one of those pickups with a cover on it. She filled the back of her truck with with a donation. And the things that she had were, well, you saw them in the hopefully in the sale. She had an amazing collection, so beautifully organized. Big thanks to her for that donation.
If you're looking for the sale and you go to the Upper Midwest Bead Society Facebook page and then click on photos and albums, and there it is right there. And you can go ahead and see what we still have. We still have a bunch of really great stuff left.
Did you moved them all to the front of the group,
Well, there
didn't you?
are a few that have sold since, but I moved all the still available stuff to the front so it would be easy to see what's still available. So I know that this one has sold and this one has sold and this one has sold, but a lot of the other ones are still available. So
And
shall we talk about
have bins that are bid?
what the fundraiser is going to get used for, and then let's go on with our project.
Yeah, and so the fundraiser also is still going for those items that are being a bid on. And so go see those because we are going to turn off the bids on Monday, and then the highest bidder will win the item. And so there's lots of crystals and check fire polish and a beautiful necklace that was donated by Jamie Cloud Eakin. So we want you to check them all out and then we will show you what it's all about. our fundraiser is going to the Toho Peace Ring Project with the Grand Connection Peace Chain. And so on August 6th, 2026, at the Mall of America, we are going to have a grand connection and try to have the world's longest peace chain. And so we need your help making peace rings. We're going to need 700,000 rings hooked together into just to make a mile long. And so we're so excited that the whole world is hopefully, starting to work on this with us. I've heard from my friends at Toho. They're having a giant workshop on November 22nd in Tokyo. And it's in conjunction with the Japanese Beading Association, Gallery T, and then Twinkle Beads in Germany is hooking together some groups in Germany that are doing peace rings for us. So anywhere you are in the world, if you want more information on how to participate and join our peace ring project, you can go to our website, umbs.org, and you can stop by at the Mall of America at Lotus Beads and Jewelry. Every Wednesday, we have our workshop from 2 to 5 p.m., and that's a free workshop. So we are trying to get the whole world beading. So if you have no beads in your world and can't afford the beads but want to help, that's part of what our fundraiser, is going to help. And so Paulette, our new incoming president, um, yes.
So I just want to let you know that we have been contacting other bead societies we sent the package out. Jan sent, I think, 18 packages out, which had the Toho letter, which had beads in it, information about the piece chain, how to make the chains, the patterns, the purpose of the piece chain project, everything. And then I'm contacting bead societies via Facebook and or email. We have Indiana Bead Society got back to me, and she is going to present that to her members, and they're going to make chains. And she's already said they're going to start in January, and then she's going to mail their chains to us by June. The main Bead Society has said they're going to look at the information and get back to me. So we will be following up with other bead societies to see if they need assistance on making the beads, if they need beads or have any questions. So,
The
and
Great Lakes Bead Society, right, Joanne?
Yeah,
You've
the
got
Great
beads in
Lakes,
our
we've
market.
already started.
which one is that?
The Great Lakes Bead Society in
Oh,
Michigan.
great. Yes.
Yeah, we've already started. We've got our beads. And at the
Fabulous.
next meeting, the beads are being given out. And we have one of our girls that's in charge of the whole thing. Her name is Gail Foster.
Gail Foster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
she
then
took
we've,
charge of it.
it's so cool. And then the Beady Bunch in Nebraska,
Yeah,
too.
exactly. We have a new member that's from the beading buddy group. And I think she's very excited. I can't think of her name off the top.
Leslie?
Yes, exactly. So we're getting bead societies. And again, this can be anybody. You could do this with your Girl Scout troop. You can do that with your your grandchildren. You can do it if you see, if you have a parent that's in a assisted living and stuff, they do crafts if you want to do it there. And it could be any kind of beads. We got some fabulous pictures up there. It could be strung beads, it could be a beaded pattern.
Mhm.
Anything you want to do is fabulous.
Yep, we've changed the world, so we've eliminated all your excuses not to join.
That's right.
So we're so darn excited. So join the fun, and we're going to get on to our main project now because we all really want to make this cool stuff. So we've got a great fun pattern by our very own special member, Hannah Rosner. I think everybody knows who she is. Um, but Hannah has so many skills, I'm not sure what she doesn't do. So these are the two things she came up with. Um, And so what a great pattern. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited.
So if you look at the one, I don't have any of the samples here, so Miss Rochelle has all of the samples there. Anyway, so if you look at the pendant that she's holding right now, we're going to set a little crystal at the top, a little 14 millimeter Rivoli. And I set Rivolis a little bit differently than everybody else. I'm going to show you my way to do it. But, you know, if you are comfortable setting Rivoli, then get started on that. But I'm going to show you the way I do it. It's not for everyone, but it's what works for me. There are so many different ways to do things and not just one right way. Now, Maggie, I was looking at your zipper, and if you take a look at this pendant, will you spotlight the pendant again, Mr. Shell?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry.
So if you take a look at that pendant, no, not
Oh, the pendant.
yeah, if you take a look at the pendant, then you'll see that you don't see any of the fabric on each side. You just see the zipper. You see that coil is just the plastic zipper. So I don't know if your camo one will be great for this, but it would be great for the right, for the bracelet, because you can see the colors of the sides of the on the bracelet. What I've done is I've made those coils that we're going to make today, and then I've gone ahead and onlaid them onto just a piece of ultra suede that I've gone ahead and
Yeah, because this
stitched.
orange is the zipper, the orange zipper,
Right,
and then the
exactly, and then the
background, the
purple and the
teeth are out
mustard.
here.
Right.
And then this is the purple that's laying down. That's the purple zipper
Oh, wow.
Right.
getting
So Maggie, you
cut.
may want to consider something like this for that camo, because with the pendant, what's going to happen is all of the fabric part of your zipper will be hidden.
Yeah,
So,
you're only gonna see just a tiny little bit
right.
behind the
Well,
teeth.
I might have to go ahead and just do the bracelet.
There you go. See?
I really
Just
want to
jump
see
right
that.
in.
I
Because look
really
at
want to
this
see that
gold.
pink
That's the
camo.
gold zipper that curves, and then the purple zipper, orange zipper makes that wave, and then she's got another orange zipper underneath. The red down here, that's the suede.
Right. So, but what we're going to do here today at the Saturday Bead Live is we're going to just do one of those little coils, one of the little cones. We're going to set a Rivoli, and then Miss Rochelle has a special fringe with a demi round at the bottom, and she will show you how to do that.
And
So,
Jan had a comment. She set the Rivoli earlier this morning while before we even got started. And what was your comment about doing it Hannah's way, Jan?
Just how easy it was. I don't think I've done one, like that exactly that way before, and it just was really fast, and
thank
it,
you.
and it, wor- and it worked perfectly.
Right, but once again, if you've done Rivolis a different way and you're comfortable, then let's start, and you should try your way. But I'm going to show how I do it. So if you would go ahead, my dear, and spotlight my work table.
I will, I will, I will.
So there we go. I am on a cell phone here, and I'm not sure how to rotate it. It was fine in class the
Well,
other day, and
here
then
then I'm just gonna do this so then it's as big as possible. How about that?
thank you
Yes.
so much. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually start by putting I do a little stop bead that's the actual same color, and it becomes the first bead in my setting. But if you want to put a different stop bead with a different color, feel free to. And I actually put that stop bead not at the end of the thread, but right in the middle. And you'll see why later. So I've got, you're going to need, I'd say about a yard and a half of thread. And you're going to put that stop bead right in the center there. And then you're going to, for a 14 millimeter Rivoli, if you're using Toho beads, then you're going to want to string 32 Toho beads. Now it's a little bit different number for the delicas. Not the delicas. I'm sorry, the mukis. And I'm sorry, but I don't remember that number. But here's the thing: is that this technique, if you need to make this bigger, it's easy. If you need to make your Rivoli setting a little bit smaller, then this becomes problematic. But 32 seems to be the right amount for a 14 millimeter. So I've gone ahead and I have strung 32 beads here. And now I'm going to go ahead and
Anna, on the directions, there's a handwritten note that crossed off the 32 and says 30.
oh, okay. Jan, how many did you do?
32.
Oh, 32. Okay, let's go with the 32.
Yep.
Okay, so I wasn't sure if that was because but yeah, that was just I was looking at the pattern. So
Yeah,
okay, cool. Because it's like handwritten over the top.
right. I think I wanted to show everybody how to make it how to make it a little bit bigger, but let's go with the 32.
Okay.
And then you're going to go ahead and you're just going to do 4 rows. Remember, the first 2 rows of peyote stitch are already done because they're in that first set of 32 beads. So this, I'm starting row 3. So you're just going to go ahead and do even count flat peyote for 2 more rows for a total of 4 rows. While we do this, let's talk about something else. Let's talk let's talk a little bit more about the fundraiser, I think. Oh,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
or we can talk a little bit about what's coming up next year.
Oh, well, we've got so much fun coming up next year. Our January speaker alone is the president of the Button Society. And so she's going to be talking about a whole section of the history of buttons, right?
Exactly. She's going to we actually talked a little bit about the history of buttons through a presentation that she did this past year, but she is going to take us through her collection and talk a little bit more detail about her favorite types of buttons and history. And her name is Vicki McTavish, and she has very kindly offered to speak to us. And then who do we have in February?
Oh my gosh, I'm a little slow on this. I was beading. I just got distracted, right? How do I get that way? Um, and so I'm so excited to do this. I've been collecting my beads, um, and my pretty crystals. So sorry. And February, we have, and remember, it's February 2nd, Melissa Fowler, and it's creatively indigenous is her business company name. And so she is an amazing indigenous artist that, I think y'all really, really like. And then March 2nd, we have coming to us internationally Helena Tang Lim. And so, oh my gosh, she's staying up in the middle of the night to talk to us.
From
And
Singapore.
I
Oh, wow.
know, right?
Yeah.
It's just, we're so darn excited, because we're Zooming everything. We really, truly are an international bead group, you know, and so. We're just so darn excited. Um,
Um, um, uh, could we back up to Melissa Fowler? Is she from Minnesota?
She is.
mhm. Yeah, she messaged us through Facebook, um, um, and is from northern Minnesota.
So she won't be on site for the meeting. Oh,
We're
that's right.
doing Zoom
We're
meetings for
doing Zoom.
January, February, so everybody is Zooming.
It'd be
Yeah.
nice if she ever gets to the Twin Cities to invite her to a meeting.
Oh, we would love that. We should do that. I'll
Yeah.
email her
Well,
and tell her.
right. Well,
So
because yeah, she'll be
we
a new member, right? So,
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And maybe, she can bring her
Oh,
stuff and everybody
okay.
can
Oh, that
see
would be
it then in
great.
person. Guys, this particular technique works really best if you do bead kind of tightly. You want to be your peyote stitch to be on the tight side for this. So there I am working on my fourth row. So you can see. And of course, because I'm using seed beads, row 3 looks, you can see it doesn't really snap into place the way that cylinder beads like ICOs do. But as soon as you get to row 4, it starts to really behave itself. So if your row 3 looks a little bit strange, remember those first 32 beads were rows 1 and 2. So you want it to look like this.
oh, you're a little south of the screen, a little up more. There you go.
Yep.
Perfect.
Thank you. Now, there it is in focus a little bit better.
I thought it was just early and I was blurry.
No, no, my cell phone is pretty close to my workspace, and so I really don't get a very wide amount of stuff that's in focus here. So once you get here, because I bet some of you are a lot faster at this than I am, what you're going to do is you're going to put away your size 11s for now, and you're going to put out some 15s, and you're going to do 2 rows on this side of 15s and pull them as tight as you can. So there it is. And I'm going to show you this on the pattern real quick. If you have the pattern, so we've gone ahead and set the Rivoli. And then over here, you can see that I've added 2 rows of size 15s, and it starts to make a little smiley face. And once I get that, I'll move on. So this is on page 2 of the pattern, which is available on the website. If you are watching this later, it is available at the Upper Midwest Bead Society website, which is umbs.org. And the meetings that we've been talking about, I've been having trouble stopping sharing. There we go. The meetings we've been talking about are only available for our members, but we also do these Saturday Bead Lives once a month. And those are available to everybody on Facebook as well as to our members. So I'm going to put out some size 15s here, and I'm going to do 2 rows on one side that are very, very tight of the 15s. I'm using 1G here, but I do like this in 6-pound Fireline the best. That's my very favorite. I really like that. And the reason I like that is because I do like to be able to pull it really tightly. Whoops, I'm off screen. Sorry about that, guys.
And then you can also watch all of our videos on our YouTube channel. We
Oh, thank you.
record all of our Let's Bead lives, and then they are on the link from our archive Let's Bead Live section on the website so that you can download the pattern, read about the kit, and then get your links straight to the YouTube, watch it, and then go back and talk to the designer. If you had any questions, you could message later. So we have over 5 years of programming on our public YouTube channel. But if you're a member, which is only $35 a year for 12 different meetings, you can also go to our private YouTube channel, which then has our private meetings on that different YouTube channel. So then you can see all the different Monday night meetings that you've missed from the last few years.
Right. We started all these online, unfortunately with COVID, but this was they're really the only silver lining about the COVID was that we started going online and now you can access all of these meetings. It's a huge library of uh, online meetings with different, oops, sorry, different special guests speaking. We range from lamp workers like Jody McDougall, who did some Marini buttons and showed to us, to some of the real lamp work greats like Lewis Wilson. And we also have seed beading and all kinds of other stuff. We've got a whole history of lamp work that Sage and Tom Holland did. And we're finally getting to adding buttons in. That was a pretty big hole, I think, that we're starting to fill in terms of our library of online videos. So can you see I'm starting to get that curve that I want?
Yep. We also have, when you go to our membership page, I think you go, the first item is listed for videos is our Let's Be Live. So those are also free for people to look at.
Absolutely. And the thing is if you go to YouTube and you look up Upper Midwest Bead Society and you are not a member, then all of those come up on YouTube as well if you're looking from YouTube itself. And you can visit all of our Saturday Bead Lives, except for maybe the one or two that I'm sorry about that. Except for the one or two that we've forgotten to videotape. There's so much to remember with this online technology always.
Well, it really is. And it's a learning curve with Facebook always trying to change their platforms too. So we used to have everything stored on Facebook and you could go watch them in the past, but now it's only there for, 3 days or a month. And so then they delete it. So I know they're having a storage issue. So that's why you have to go to our YouTube channel now after a period of time to watch everything.
You know what? I'll after we're done today, I'll go ahead and add a few links. We haven't had some updated links to that YouTube posted in a while, so I'll go ahead and add those links in onto our
Thank you
Facebook
so
page.
much. You're so nice. And so Hannah is my right hand in our monthly meetings, what do you call it? Programming. And so if you want to be part of our membership, that's we have committee members who do things. You don't have to be on the board. You can just be a volunteer and then work on those parts of the committees that you enjoy. So whether it's working on the retreat, whether it's working on our Twin City Bead Bazaar or State Fair, or if you just want to help us with the auction, there's some things that are, monthly and some things that are just once a year. Wherever you want to, donate your time and energy, even just making peace rings is, helping out all the different cause. And you're making friends while you do it too.
So can you see here that I've got that little U shaped?
It's a perfect smile.
It is a perfect smile. So now I'm going to add 2 rows on this side of size 15s. And in order to do that, instead of weaving this thread that I was working in, over to the other side. I'm actually just going to go over here because remember, we started in the middle. So I can just go over here on this one and thread this one up and add 2 rows on the other side. Remember, it should be really nice and tight. And then instead of a smile, I'll have a little channel that I can just fit right around my Rivoli. And I can then lace it into place, just like shoes get laced in, or if you happen to be at the Ren Fest, then a corset gets laced too. There we go. So I'm going to just put a little beater's knot there so that those size 15s that I was just working on don't come loose. And now I'm going to rethread. That's the hardest part of this, rethreading the needle. And I'm going to just do 2 rows on the other side of size 15s. How's everybody feeling so far?
They're concentrating. Everybody's looking down at their stuff.
I know, right? So we have people right here on our Zoom. If you're watching from Facebook, you'll see that there's a number of different people. I think I'm spotlighted, but you'll see that there were a number of different people who were Zooming in. We send our links for our Zooms, even our Saturday Bead Lives, to our members. It's one of the perks is you get to be part of this Zoom. But we have Zoom members all over the country. We have Joanne from Detroit, and we've got Bernie from Espanola, New Mexico, and we've got Paulette. Are you in Kansas right now, or where are you?
I'm in Kansas. That's where I live, my
Right.
hometown.
But you're sometimes in the Minnesota area. So Paulette is our incoming president, and Jan has been our president for quite a few years. She will be our president emeritus.
3 years.
3 years. And then Maggie was a past president too. So
And I see Diane Fitzgerald on our was our founding.
Diane was our
Founding
founding
member.
member. Hi, Diane. How are you? We're glad to have you here. So can you see how it's starting to actually become a little channel that I can just fit right around my Rivoli?
That is just so slick and easy. Oh my gosh.
Trouble setting Rivolis any other way. But once again, if you are comfortable setting it a different way, go ahead. There is no one right way or one wrong way. There's just the way that works for you. So I have the 1 row here. Oops, a little out of focus. I'll put it down there so it's nice. And there you go. And you can see it's become a channel already. I'm going to do 1 more row of Rivolis. I'm sorry, of 15.
Diane, did you ever think we would be so international when you started this whole thing 36 years ago? Nope.
She
Oh,
needs to
you're
unmute.
muted. You're muted, so we can see you shake your head, but we can't hear you. But yeah, we'd love anybody to unmute and join the conversation. Don't be shy.
I'm doing this a little bit slow today, guys. I'm only working on half a cup of coffee so far.
Don't worry, the rest of us are working slow too, so.
Okay, good.
You know, beading is all about the process. It really, there's no judgment and time, speed, all of that. You just have to let that go.
I'm very slow today. This is the first time I beaded probably in almost 3 months.
I know. I'm glad you're feeling well enough to join us into Bead today, Joanne.
Well, I'm trying to do a little. I don't know how far I'll get. Poor Hannah came to Michigan and I couldn't even spend real time with her.
I was just happy to see you even for the short time that we got to spend together.
Yeah, I was too. Who knew it would take that long, huh, Hannah?
I know. Oops, sorry about that. I think I need to get myself a new stand for my phone here. So I stop making you all nauseous every time I hit my phone and it goes wobbling all over the place.
Are you still in San Francisco or are you home?
I'm in Grants Pass right now. Oh, there you go. Can you see that channel that I've made now?
Oh, that's so slick.
And then I'm just going to be able to fit that right around my little Rivoli here. There it is. And I'll be able to, I'm not quite done with this. And then I'll be able to go ahead and just uh, lace it right there, just lace it into place. And that's how it's going to fit around. I'm using, if it gets turned over, guys, I ran out of Rivolis when I was making kits. And so I'm using a flat pack. And I'm just going to disclose that right now, just in case I turn it over and you guys think that, you know, you should have that. You shouldn't. You should have the pointy one on both sides. This is just that all that I had left over after making all those kits. We still do have, how many kits do we have left? Do we have only two or do we have
There's
only,
only the two. Yes, ma'am.
and you guys can absolutely, I will leave them up for sale for a little while on our on my website, and I'll put that link. So if you're watching this afterwards and you want to get one of those kits, they're still available at $39, but there are only two left, and they're very pretty still. So it's not like only the pretty ones left. There we go. Can you see that?
I know the purple one's gone. I totally understand, everyone's love for purple, but
Miss Joanne got that one.
I tell you. But
Yes.
if you want
I'm
me
going
to
to put
show
that
them
down
later,
for a
I
little
can.
while, and I'm going to let you guys sort of catch up with us. And then in let's say in about 5 minutes, I'll show you how to lace it together, and then we'll move on to the zipper.
And so does anybody have any questions?
I'm going to go look and see if everybody's doing okay on Facebook. Oh, Maggie, thank you so much for putting the website of your kits for the December Saturday Bead Live in there. Maggie has put her website into the chat and also onto Facebook if you want to join our Bead
Welcome.
Live on December, which is December 13th. Now, Maggie, do you have the discs for sale as well as the kits, right?
Yes, I got discs, bobbins, weights.
And how much the kit is? How much? I know you said how much is the kit for December again?
$35, and that includes shipping.
Okay, and how much would the whole sort of setup, not including the kit, but how much if I don't have a disc, which I don't, how much would a disc run me?
A disc is about $5.
Oh, heck,
Um,
that's great.
but you can get a beginner set, which is a disc, bobbins, let me think, weight, a bead scoop, and I think I've got that for $10 for everything.
Oh, that's great. Okay, and
And
the
I've
thing
also
about
got,
that is once you have that disc, you can use it for other projects. It's not like a one-shot deal.
no, that disc will work for years. And if they do get dirty, you can put them in the dishwasher on the top rack.
Oh, wow.
And it'll clean them. And it'll also, if you stretched out the slots on there, by using cord or, whatever, going through the dishwasher will shrink those slots down too. So dishwashers solve a lot of problems.
Wow, that's pretty ingenious.
Maggie, what stitch is it?
Uh,
Kumihimo.
it's Kumihimo, and it's the 8 cord
Oh,
spiral. So you've got, um, you know, one color bead on 4 cords and the second color on the other 4 cords, and so you get that spiral look to the braid. It's the standard beginner. And if you go to my website, on the cover page are free downloads of the 7 cord, the 8 cord, and the 12 cord braids. And you just download them from the first page of my website.
That's so cool.
That's excellent. All right. So once you get this far, it's time to go ahead and slip your little Rivoli in there, and you can see that it just fits right in there. Let's say that it's too short, though. Let's just for scientific purposes. If it's too short, then what you can do, because remember, peyote stitch looks an awful lot like brick stitch, only it's done, I'm going to call this horizontally, and brick stitch is done vertically. So I could add 2 rows here of brick stitch to go ahead and make this longer. But we're going to just go ahead and we're going to fit that right in. And then we're coming out of the size 15. We're going to go into a size 15. There we go. We're going to go and move over and come out of it 11 and go into I'm off screen. There we go. And so I just go back and forth. There we go.
Do this later.
And I can go ahead and just zip that into place. Remember, I'm using a flat back here. You've got a nice pointy one. And I'll go through that another time just to make sure that that's nice and tight. But there it is. That's how I set a Rivoli, because I'm really bad at doing it any other way. If you are good at doing it any other way, then whatever works for you is the right way. So I'm going to go back in here and just. All right. So once we get that done, we're going to actually set this aside for now. And we're going to start on the main attraction, which is the zipper. Let me just go ahead and. Oh, off screen. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that aside. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to string on another string just 32 beads and set them into a circle and set those aside right over here. That's going to be our pattern, because we're going to want our cone, our zipper cone, to fit right in there so it can fit right behind us. Remember, I've got that flat back, whereas you have a pointy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make you count 32 beads again. And then I'm going to go ahead and join it into a circle and set it right over here. When you go to the zipper, it is useful to have a regular pin just to hold everything together at the beginning, or an extra needle. Now is a good time to go grab one of those while I go ahead and count for 32 beads. We could have also used our original 32 before we started, but I wanted to show you how to go ahead and set that Rivoli. There we go, 32. And I'm going to, once again, I'm going to go ahead and just go into a circle here. And I'm going to just go ahead and set that right over there because that is going to be our little pattern, so to speak, for our cone. We want our cone to fit right inside there so that it can go right behind this nicely. Okay. I'm going to just let you guys catch up for a second and then I'll move on. Am I going too fast for anybody? If I'm going too fast, just holler. Assume everything's okay. Either that or you're just totally frustrated with me if you're quiet. So there are two options.
Everybody is very in depth in studying, but I think if I can keep up with you, anybody can. All right. 7. Counting to 32 is the hard part.
It is, and threading the needle.
To have the magic smashing tool for the thread. That's the trick.
Oh, yes.
You got to smash the end of the thread if you want to get it into the needle.
I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes here and then I'll move on and we'll get to the main attraction, which is the zipper.
Are you just threading through one bead to make the circle, or are you going through the whole chain again? I didn't.
Oh, this is, I'm going to be taking this out later.
Okay.
So I've just run through 2.
Gotcha.
So that's just sort of a pattern that I'm going to be able to stuff my cone in just to make sure that it's the right width when I'm done.
Okay. Thank you.
So it just doesn't, it could be, it could be hot pink thread. It just doesn't even matter. You could even do this with sewing thread. You could do this with Nymo. But you just don't want it to come open when you go to to use it and check to make sure that it's the right width. Now we're only going to be using part of our cute little zipper here. So what I've done is I've actually cut both sides off of it. So there's cut both sides. So it started out like this. And I just opened that up. You heard me zip it just now. And then I'm just going to cut. And actually, I like leaving these aside for other projects. They could make cute little things that look kind of goth or steampunk or stuff. So I actually keep the zipper pulls.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to be using it for this project.
I have a friend who's been collecting found zipper pulls at the airport in Germany where he works. And he makes art necklaces, collections, all sorts of fun keychains. He's found thousands of them in the last because they get damaged in the airport, as your luggage is going around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fun. What you can do with recycled, upcycled everything. I mean, look at Diane's cute little doll she made, has almost those little same pointies. What did you use to make your porcupine doll that you just did, Diane? Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. You gotta unmute. Usually it's in the bottom left-hand corner of at least my computer. I'm not sure what. There you
Okay,
go.
I used a hot glue gun.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
It was very easy. I just
Do
wrapped
you
it.
have that with you right there, Diane, that I can
No,
see?
it's downstairs.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so the little challenge that we have about the zippers is they can fray a little bit. So I've got a little This is a little little melting tool, thread burner, there's the word. And this was one that was a gift from Joanne, and you can see, whoop, it's a little dirty there. But you can see that mine is rechargeable, which is wonderful because these guys go through batteries so quickly. Here's the brand, and you can get it off of Amazon. And I just love it. I've had this for a number of years now. She gifted it to me a number of years ago, and I use it for everything. But I've got it, and I can just go ahead and I can heat it up, and I can just burn this so that it doesn't fray. And the thing is because this is a polyester, it just turns into a little bit of plastic. And I'm sure that, I'm sure it's not great for the environment, to be quite honest. But don't do that too much in an enclosed space. Otherwise, you will be able to, get a little bit whiffy from it. But that just keeps it from fraying. You could also use a tiny bit of E6000 on the side there, or you could just leave it alone and just bear with it. So there are two sides to the zipper. I'm going to call this one with the little sort of lip here, the front, and I'm going to call this the back. Okay. So once again, the one with the little lip here, I'm going to call the front. That's going to be the outside of my cone. And this is going to be the back, which is going to be the inside of the cone. And looking at the back, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to turn this, excuse me, while I was out digging around in the garden. So my nails are pretty bad. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and just turn that to the back so that the rough end, there it is, the rough end is just in case it's going to be encased in that cone. And I don't have any extra pins around, so I'm just going to use this ginormous needle right here. So there it is. I'm just going to pin it in place. There it is. So I'm just pinning it in place. Now, I'm going to go thread a needle with a really ridiculous color so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'll be right back. But you may want to use a color that matches a little bit better. So I'm gonna just thread with a little bit of this so you really can see what I'm doing there, okay? Don't do this at home, kids. But I do want you to be able to see my stitches. There we are. I just threaded it. I'm off camera and I put a little knot at the end. There's my little knot. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just stitch this, and it can be really ugly on the inside. I'm just going to stitch this down.
You're off camera.
Yep. There we go. So I'm just going to go ahead. And once again, these can be really ugly stitches. These are going to be hidden inside my little cone here. But I want to go ahead and just stitch that down. There it is, so that it stays in place. And can you see how this kind of goes down at an angle? So I want that cut end to be hidden inside. And once again, this part can be real ugly. You're not going to see this, but you want to make sure it's stitched down nice and tightly. My needle came off, so I'm just re-threading my needle off camera here. There we are. So can you see how I just stitched that down so that, and once again, this part can be pretty ugly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start coiling it. And I just coil just a little bit at a time. I'm off camera there. There we go. And you want to coil as tightly as possible. Yes. And each coil, you want it to be below the one underneath, or the one that you've just done. You want this to be as tight as possible at the top. And this is where you may want to go ahead and change your. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use a pin. In this case, I'm using a gigantic needle, and I'll take a couple of stitches. Just go right through it. Whoops. Be patient with yourself at the beginning. The first couple of stitches are always the hardest. I'm just going to start coiling.
Can you move it a little back and center? There you go.
There we go.
Anna, could you,
You're off camera again. There you go.
yeah,
There we go.
you're putting stitches kind of up by the zipper and then down, or
So
just,
what I'm doing is I'm just, once I've got that, I just do it sort of any way I can to start that coil. Can you see I've started that coil? And now
yeah,
I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to just start stitching through. It's underneath the zipper itself.
And then twist coil your teeth.
Right.
Right.
So
Match.
I just do just a little bit at a time. Can you see where I'm stitching underneath? So you don't want to go over the top of the plastic zipper. You just want to go through the fabric underneath it, catch the fabric behind it.
And are these stitches eventually going to be hidden or will they stick out?
They will be, well, I'm using a really bright thread. So in my case, can you see I can see that little bit of red here and here from the stitch underneath. But if you're using a color that matches a little bit better, I really like the beige and the browns. So I'll show you those in just a second because they have a tendency to just disappear, but I'm using this bright red so that you can really see my stitches here. And can you see how small this stitch is that I'm,
Yeah. Okay.
so that when I pull it, it really kind of disappears, but still can you see it right there, that little stitch?
Okay. Thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going, and I would say that these are, no more than about a quarter of an inch. This one I've got a little knot here, so I'm just going to pull this back out and just unknot it. There we go. Although it will be covered, so there it is. Well, it will be covered, so it doesn't really matter. So I go ahead and I twist, and I take a little stitch. And once again, that first little bit is a little clumsy, but once you get going. By the way, this that I'm using is Nymo, and you see I'm having trouble with it doing two separate things. It's both fraying and it is knotting. So this is the reason I wouldn't recommend Nymo, but I wanted you to see the thread easily. So can you see I've got this coil going on? There it is. So I just take a little turn, do a little stitch. There it is. Take a little turn, do a little stitch. Take a little turn, Do a little stitch. Do a little turn. And in the long run, what we want is we want this to fit just above. You can see I have a ways to go still, but you want that to fit just above that last row of coils, that last row of zipper. That's where that's going to live. So you can see I have quite a bit to go here. Now, I promised I'd show you the colors of thread that I do recommend. Get those. You know, you can always use a thread that absolutely matches. So I could use a pink for this. But I do like this color of 1G. It kind of matches everything, unless it's really dark. And then I prefer this kind of a color. This is not 1G. This is Kanso that my friend Kim gave to me. And I've got a ton of it. But this is a great color for the darker ones. How you guys feeling about this so far?
I'm just coiling.
Just coiling.
I'm not very good at keeping the zipper
Well, feel free to
edge
always
closed.
feel free to always move it and put a pin in. And then I'll be able to go ahead and do that. So I can move it and put a pin in. And then make my little stitch. So then that may make it easier just to go ahead and coil, put a little pin in, make a stitch. So it'll just hold it just long enough for you to make that stitch. Yeah. Now, I'm actually just going to go ahead, now that you guys saw what I'm doing. I don't like seeing that red, so I don't really want to make something with that red. So I'm going to actually start over on mine using the beige 1G. And it's going to be really hard to see those stitches as a result, but I wanted you guys to be able to see those stitches. So I'm off camera right now, just taking those stitches out. And I'm going to go ahead and start with everybody feeling okay about this?
Mhm.
Yeah, once you get started, it's a lot easier. But that first, I do have to remind you that that first little bit, if you're fighting with it, be patient with yourself. That first little bit can get a little bit, it can be difficult. That first little couple of stitches. And once you get that first little couple stitches, as long as you get that raw edge on the inside, it actually will work out just fine, I promise. Oh, I hear my pups outside barking at something. Sean took them out to play.
And what's the optimal row wraps?
Well, it just depends on how tight you're wrapping. If it's real loose, then you're going to need a lot less. And that's the reason that you made that little, I'm going to call it a jig for yourself out of that circle of beads, is because it just really depends completely on how tight you are. It could be only a few, it could be a lot. I have a tendency to wrap a lot and really tightly. So for me, it has a tendency to be a little bit more. Would you go ahead and count how many wraps there are in the sample that I gave you, please?
Sure will.
Because that's how many I have a tendency to do. But once again, for you, it might be different because if you're looser or if you're even tighter. And so that's why you made the jig for yourself is this one. Unfortunately, there is not a right answer. Again, there's only what works for you.
So on this one here, there's 6 wraps.
Mm-hmm.
The zipper I'm using is a tiny bit larger than that one. But other than that, but yeah, this one here is 6 wraps.
Gotcha. So hang
So,
tight.
like you said, you go with the flow of your zipper, right?
Absolutely. You just go with the flow of your zipper.
And if you step on the thread of your circle with 32 beads, you're gonna like lose all your 32 beads on the floor.
You might need a little bit more tea or coffee there.
I think I do.
I know I'm off camera here, so I'm doing something fancy pants to show you in just a sec. So hold on. I'll be right back. How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing okay? Did you get past that first wrap? You'll see once you get past that first wrap, it is easier. But I know that first wrap, a couple of wraps can be a little touch and go. So just be patient with me and patient with your zippers.
I feel like I'm doing a whole new kind of beading.
Well, you know what I like
Zipper
about this is
beading.
if you look at the zipper, um, the plastic zipper, it looks like a gazillion little beads that you didn't have to add.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. It's just, I mean, it really does. And you can see here that really what works the best here are the zippers that are plastic because they have the color. The ones that are metal or, just look metal. So So the reason that we decided to do this is that Miss Rochelle ended up with a whole bunch of zippers.
And so my aunt, who's a master quilter, she's one of those who started the guild in the textile center, 50 years ago, passed away this year. And so my cousins, were passing on her entire collection of fabrics, notions, all sorts of patterns, books. So had a lovely afternoon with my mom and my cousins going through, and everything is so neatly colorized and organized. And so she had all her zippers, each one safety pinned on those fancy hangers that have like a million things. And so they were all labeled whatnot. And so they, of course, took them off the safety pins, saved the safety pins by size, and then put all the zippers in a bag. So I said, "Thank you very much for my new collection." So I just took the whole bag of zippers, the entire box of safety pins, and I've been having the most fun sorting and organizing them. It is just great. So then all the little 4x4 cut squares for quilting were already washed, ironed, folded, colorized. So that way, then I could pick my favorite fabrics to make bags, to
Oh,
make all
wow.
sorts of great things. So, just a real treat. So we passed on the whole collection to they put out a thing through the Textile Guild earlier this year, and so all kinds of folks came. And so now all of her notions are living on. They're no longer in storage. Because when you're, not feeling well, you're in declining, you can't do all those things you love, and you just look at your fabrics and notions and go, "Oh my gosh." So it's really nice that they're living on to a whole nother day.
Wonder whether or not she knew my mom. My mom was one of the founding members there of the textile center too.
I'm sure that they did because, of the time, the era, um, and so I bet
So
she did.
your friendship was meant to be, right?
Oh, it was.
I
Even her parents, her father was a colleague of my stepfather.
They used to
Oh,
have
wow.
lunch together.
Oh
So
Yeah.
my
yeah,
gosh. So I'm close to the end and I don't know how far I should go.
you're close to the end of the zipper, or you're
Hmm.
close to the.
The end of the
So
zipper, yeah.
yeah, so
I'm
what
about
you
an
want to
inch
do
out from the
is you
end.
want to go ahead and and make sure that your zipper just fits right in there into your little jig. Can you
Okay.
see how? So how? Hang tight for just a second while I get there.
Yep.
Mhm. So mine I tend to do really tight, and I'm actually doing something as a sample to show you um, sort of another option.
Yep.
So does it appear to fit pretty nicely in there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, super. So once it fits in there nicely, you can just go ahead and you can cut off any extra that you've got.
Do you kind of fold the end over then or
I'll show you in just. Oh well,
okay,
you don't
sorry.
really have to. So but I'll show you as soon as I get there. Hang tight.
Okay.
You're Speedy Gonzales, Jan.
I know she
Sorry.
really is
I was just having fun fighting with that zipper.
fighting, and you won, didn't
I
you?
won. Well, I had already started the zipper, so I was a little bit ahead. Uh, I had cut it and uh,
Done class prep.
yeah.
So I went a little overboard here, and mine's a little bit too big, the zipper's a little too big. So I'm going to be taking a little bit out. But what I'm going to show you is that I actually just, um, I've used two different color zippers here. So I'm going to have Jan show you hers, and I'll have um, Rochelle is show you hers, but I have two different colors here, and you can see that I went overboard. So I'm going to be taking a couple of stitches out there. Can you see that?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
cool.
love the two colors mixed together.
So I've just gone ahead and instead of doing one, so you could go ahead and do two if you want another time. I would start with just one though, because if you think you were fighting with one zipper, two is twice as much.
Show that one again, please.
Oh, I will. I'm just taking out because I went too far. So I'm just taking out the extra stitches that I didn't need.
Hannah, just so you know, I had to stop eating, but I'm gonna watch.
Okay. So hang tight while I get this right there. There it is. So you want your row of, and you can see that this kind of crosses over here, but you want your row of 32 beads to go just fit right underneath. There it is. I'm going to have to take this little stitch out. Then I'm going to just cut this right here. You'll see me cut this. I'll burn that little end, and then I'm going to just really stitch it down very firmly. Now that's all going to be covered with beads, so you don't have to worry about turning this underneath or anything. The problem with using two is that it's harder to get the top nice and close. So you can see my top here is not as nice as yours. However, I will be adding fringe. And the fringe
No,
covers
not
everything.
fringe.
Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to cut that off right there. This. And I'm going to stitch that down firmly. So hang tight while I do that. If you have a little thread burner, you may want to seal those edge of the seal the edge of that zipper as well. Go.
And did you fold it under or did you just stitch it down?
I'm just stitching it right the heck down.
Okay, gotcha.
Now, there it is. I don't want that extra bulk that would happen if I folded it
Oh,
under.
gotcha. Okay.
And all of this is going to be covered with beads. So it doesn't have to be, I mean, you can't really see that because I'm using the same color, but it can be really messy. I'm going to take my little jig off and put it aside. There it is. And here's what I've got so far. Now I might go through, like this one's coming apart right here. I didn't do a good stitch there. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to just really double stitch it in place so it's nice and tight.
I would think the teeth on the zipper might have a specific way these things would work out too.
Well, they do. They tend to just sort of fit into each other nicely.
But if you have a bigger teeth zipper,
Yeah, the bigger teeth zipper also does fit because I have a bigger teeth zipper here, and they look really cool together. But yeah, it's very mine's like twice the size of the others.
Yeah, I haven't found that, a zipper that doesn't work. It's just that I'm not crazy about the metal ones because you really want this color. And the metal zipper teeth just look like metal zipper teeth. There we go. So I'm just going ahead and you may not have to do this. I was just in kind of a hurry to get this all together so you could see it. There it is. All right. We doing okay so far? How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah. I did a whole series here of like black and white ones that looked sort of like Tim Burton. They were fun. With the stripes.
So you just wound two zippers inside of each other to do that.
Right.
Cool.
And what I did is I actually basted them together with big stitches and then just worked them as one. So, and you can see here, I still have that red from my original stitches that I didn't get all the way out. I'll take those out now because that looks really bad.
But won't that get covered up?
It's going to get covered with fringe, but it still bothers me. Just knowing
Okay.
it's there is bothering me right now. So, all right. So there's my, there we go. All right. So we are ready to move on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be putting these two together. And what we do is we're going to actually do a running stitch right around the outside here and pull it in. That'll bring everything to the inside, all of this extra stuff to the inside, like that. It'll actually help keep this base nice and firm. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be going back to this. I'm going to be adding, I'm just giving you sort of an overview of what I'm doing here. I'm going to be adding basically a stitch in the ditch here so that I can hook them together. And I'm going to be going ahead and adding a collar of beads here that I can just peyote stitch up, and then I'll hook the two of them together, and then we'll be able to add fringe. So that's what you're going to see me do here. But I've given you the overview right now. Now I'm going to do it a little bit at a time. I'll take that red out a little bit later. So I'm going to do a little running stitch, which is in and out and in and out. In and out, in and out.
And that's up towards
And that's,
zipper.
I do two. I'm going to do one right above the teeth of the, and then I'll start to pull it in. So I did the first one. You see, I did it right above the teeth of the zipper. And now I'm going to do it right at the top here. And it doesn't have to be nice and neat. So I'm going to pull it, I'm going to pull it, and I'm going to kind of stuff it down. You've got an awl. This is a great place to use that. I'm just using a scissor. There we go. Doesn't have to be all the way down in there because we will be doing beadwork over the top. There it is. All right. And you can feel that this is a lot stiffer down here. So it really keeps it nice and open. Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't want to go down.
If it doesn't want to really go down, then don't worry about it too much. And you might have done it nice and tight, but you'll be able to cover that whole thing with peyote stitch. I just went ahead and I just really shoved it down in there.
Really,
you can see
really
that I still,
it. Okay.
Yeah, I really shoved it down in there using a scissor, but an awl works.
Yeah, the
well.
awl works better.
Yeah, there you go. I didn't have my awl here, so there it is. All right. Don't worry about this little mess right here, which is the cut end of the teeth of the zipper. We'll be covering that a little bit later. Okay.
So once you get it stuffed in, do you try to stitch it to keep it in place because it wants to pop back up?
Yes, if mine is not popping out, but yes, if yours is popping out, go ahead and just do some stitches. Once again, this will be totally covered with seed beads, so don't worry if it looks icky. That's a technical term. But yeah, you want to keep it down in there so that it doesn't come back out after you've done all that work stuffing it down in there. Now, if you take a look at these two, like right now, can you see that really there's a space there that I really can't really fit them together and hide things. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be coming over here to the very last row of size 11s. Here's the back. Remember, mine is flat, yours is pointy. I'm going to be coming back here to this last row, and I'm going to be adding size 11s in between each of those. And what will happen is it's called stitching in the ditch. That'll actually mean that I will be able to come out and add peyote stitch all the way around here and make kind of a little collar that will fit right over this, and then I can stitch it all together. Does that make sense what I tried to describe there?
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going to do is using whichever one of your threads, remember you have 2 threads here, whichever one makes sense to you, you're going to, I just lost my needle. I didn't even move and I lost my needle. How'd that happen? All right, I've got another one here.
Blame Mercury.
I know, right? All right, well, I've got another needle
Everything.
here, so it's okay.
Just don't step on it.
I know, right? I'm sure I will. Anybody else have needles that end up looking just like that all the time?
Yep. They're still good for months.
I know, they're great.
Especially in embroidery. I like that kind of bend when I
just find them easier to hold too. I've decided that I'm going to use this thread. It's a little farther up, so I have to weave to the right place, but it's a little bit longer. So that's the reason I decided to use this one instead of the other thread that's already down there. So I'm going to go weave to the very last row. Here's the last row of size 11s before I switch to 15s. I'm going to add an 11. I'm going to skip over the size 15 and I'm going to just go ahead, and I'm not on screen, so hang tight while I get to the right place. So here it is. Let's move that down a little. There we go. So I've just added this one. There it is.
You're working on the back side?
Yes, you're working on the back side, the last row of 11s before you switch to the 15s. You're just going to add another 11. And you can see them sticking out there. Can you see them sticking out when I do that?
Sure.
It's up to you. Would you like me to use a different color? Would that make it easier to see, or is this okay?
No, that works. But what a different color is gonna that'll make it easier to see where you are, right?
Right. I mean, I like it being the same color, but if you want to use a different color, feel free to. Because I'm basically extending this bezel downwards so that I can fit it over my cone of zipperness. Yeah, I know, the cone of shame, right? Anyway, so can you see that those are sort of sticking up?
Yes.
Can you see how they're sticking up? There we go. And I'm just going to go all the way around. See that? Just using my size 11s. So if you guys, anybody watching this, has a project that you would love to do for us, we do have availability next year for Saturday Bead Lives. We pay just a little bit of money. Plus, we give you the option to sell your kits. And we would love to have you show a little project. I'm going a little bit over. We usually like to have about 2-hour projects. So we're going to go over a little bit today. I apologize. And you should contact either Rochelle or me. And just let us know what you would love to teach. It's available for both our members via Zoom. You can see that there's a number of people on Zoom watching this. That's for our members, and also for anybody on Facebook. So you'll be showing everybody who wants to look how you do your project. And once again, just go ahead and contact Rochelle or me with any projects you'd like to show, and we would love to see what you have to offer. It can be anything. We in particular would love, I think, some wire working stuff. We haven't had a lot of that, but anything.
Yeah, there's just so many projects out there, fun things to do. And you can look on our public YouTube channel and see what we've done in the past. It's a whole variety of different mediums because all of us like to do different stuff. Not one of us really, I think, is stuck on one thing. So that way, I call it crafting ADD myself. Um,
Yes.
and so I'm rather addicted to just about anything fun and new, seasonal. Oh my gosh, let's jump on the bandwagon. And then a new season comes by and let's start something else. So
Right.
that's why I have so many UFO projects, I guess.
Even if you have something
Unlike the rest of us, right?
yeah,
Uh,
right? Absolutely. Even if you have something that needs special tools, if you have something that needs special tools, you could do a demo for us too. We like demos,
oh,
and
absolutely.
so it doesn't even have to be a class for people. It could just be a demo where I'd love to see someone do some cloisonne or some, and not everybody has metal smithing tools. But if you have metal smithing tools and would love to do a demo for us for a Saturday Bead Live. So, all right. So I have finished my connecting row, which is the stitch in the ditch. You can see it there. And now I'm just going to do peyote stitch in the round for as long as it takes me to cover this mess. So you can see I have a couple of rows there. So I'm just going to do as many as I need to just to cover that mess. It might be 1 row, it might be 16 rows, whatever you feel like.
So it's a little bit free form,
Oh,
for
don't use
each
that word.
one
That
that it
scares
is.
people.
I know it. Don't be scared. It's just
Right.
whatever you've got going on with your crystal and your zipper, just go with that and make it work for your project.
Exactly. So I think I'm probably going to need about, I don't know, 3 or 4 more rows here to cover this mess that I've got. So, yeah. And I'm going to do that try to do that kind of quickly so we can go on to the fringe, which I'm just going to turn over to Miss Rochelle there because I think you guys are sick of hearing me talk. And the fringe is really her.
Never.
I have like my zipper's got a little bit larger teeth, and I think if I'm probably not going to use this whole zipper length.
Oh,
Think
yes.
of
I ended up cutting, because I was using the 2, I ended up cutting off, I don't know, maybe this is, I ended up cutting off, because mine were 2 different lengths to start with. I ended up cutting off, I'd say about, what is this, 7 inches on one, and this looks like about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches on the other.
So I was saying, if people are doing the zipper, they can maybe stop every periodically and then have their ring of 32, and see how it fits.
That's exactly right. Yes,
I know you
because
said you had to take a few out. And then if you have one of those really teeny zippers or a zipper that has smaller teeth, it may, you
may
may have
take
more
longer.
time. Yeah.
Absolutely,
So.
absolutely.
I noticed too, because my teeth are a little bit bigger, it was just fighting. So I kind of kept pre-wounding it a little bit before I sewed it. And it kind of made the zipper curl a little bit so that it wasn't going to be fighting me.
Oh, nice idea. Absolutely.
That's what I'm doing with mine because it was just a little tight. But anyway, this is a
So
great
you can
project.
see that I'm just doing peyote stitching around here. Now, when I do it, I have a tendency to get this little, can you see that little indentation?
Oh yeah, uh-huh.
And I have a tendency to get that. So later on, I'll just go ahead and sew some accent beads on the outside. And you can probably see that on my sample if you would go ahead and switch to my sample for a minute there, Rochelle, and show people.
And so right on the top here. Oh wait, let me feature, sorry. Sorry, I'm on spotlight. There we go. So when you look at the sample, there's extra accent beads that she has sewn after on top of the bezel. So they're like, oops, 3 millimeter fire polish on top of, and then she's got really fun 6 O's with then the little spiky beads on it. So the idea is create, your all the jewelry part, on your ring, all the bling a ding ding, all the fun, all the accent, and you know.
Right, but what mine started out as was a very plain one, and then
Very
once
plain.
it was all done, then I started blinging it out with extra beads. And Rochelle has provided a lot of extra beads in your kit, so you'll have the option. Did I use size 3 millimeter there, or did I use
Yep,
8
3 millimeter fire polish is what some of them are, and then other ones are size 8s.
Oh,
And,
okay, right.
and so it's like when you're peyoteing over the top, so there's space in between each one. Instead of filling in the gap, she skipped a row, so then it's like little dot dot dots, like on a flower on uh the zinnia as it goes forward, each cone as it blooms will bloom further up into the center. So it's kind of like that. You've got your texture, and yeah, so you can use the 8s in there with then this yellow bead is the 6, and that is the perimeter edge of it where it finally covers where then your seeds and your
And the zipper meet. So
and the
basically,
zipper meat.
once I put it together at the very end, what I did was I just did whatever kind of
It's like the ruffle
embellishment.
on your skirt.
Yes, I just did any kind of embellishment over the top to sort of to play with it and use up extra beads. And you'll see that once you get there, you'll just see that maybe you want to add some beads over the top. There's no real pattern to that. That's just whatever you want to do. It's the Bob Ross version of happy little beads living wherever you want them to.
Oh.
See how I'm doing here. Let's get rid of this so you guys can see. Can you go ahead? For some reason, I'm not able to
Oh,
pin
whoops,
or
I'm so
not.
sorry. Let me get rid of this. I am you move.
There we
There
go. So you can see I have a few more rows that I need to do. Can you see it there?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll just stitch it down. So I'm going to continue with that. I'll stitch it down, and then I'm going to turn this over to Rochelle. But once again, I just go ahead at the very end. After I do the fringe, I use my leftover beads, and I'll just go ahead and embellish over the outside of this to make it look fancier and and I do it really the same way we did that stitching in the ditch, where I just come out, say here, add a bead here, and go in there. So wherever you want to do that is at the end, and that's how you can customize it. I've run out of thread on this one, but it just so happens that I still have this other thread. So I'm going to tie this thread off and then continue using the other thread. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do there. And I tie it off just by zigging and zagging. Oops.
What did I do? Oh, duh, beadboard. I purposely got a beadboard to use and then set it on the floor and used my old bead mat that's been, aren't we creatures of habit?
We totally are. I know. I know. Once again, remember I'm using a flat back. You'd see a point there. This is the inside, and here's the outside. For those of you who got kits from us, if you got the sort of the light, there's a strange light pink Rivoli that some of you guys got in your kits. It just doesn't look like the normal Rivolis that you've probably gotten. Those are vintage from about the 1950s. So if you ended up with the pink Rivolis, they are not Swarovski, they're vintage. I think they're German. They're not really pink. They're kind of this color actually. They're kind of this pinky brownie, I don't know, peachy color. They're really cool. But you guys all got those in the pinker kits. Just want to get this to the point where I can stitch this down for you and you can see how I do this. And then I'm going to turn it on over to Rochelle to talk about fringe.
Sorry, I need one bead.
Say that again.
Oh.
And I'm sorry, we've gone over a little bit today.
Oh, I left the bag of accent beads on the footstool in the living room.
Oh, okay, well,
So that's why it's nice zooming, beading from home.
I know I
You
love
can
being able to.
really,
I love being able to run upstairs and get samples when people ask things. And of course, you can also bead in your PJs, and that's nice.
well, I did get dressed for you all. I figured you'd appreciate that.
I've been known to wear pajama bottoms with a nice top.
See, isn't that how they've been doing it on Zoom all this
I'm
time?
about it, but make sure your up here looks okay.
Right.
Socks.
Wasn't that football player just busted doing that, or was he a cop or something?
Oh, there was all sorts of people getting caught and doing all sorts of things and wearing all different clothes underneath.
That's funny.
It
That's what
is.
was going on.
I think I've got one more row here that I need to do. Oh, I know I'm getting in my own way here. I got to figure out a better way to do this. Oh, that reminds me though, where I was going with this is you really don't need all that fancy equipment. The Upper Midwest Bead Society that Rochelle is working on has all kinds of fancy equipment that they're working Zoom. But if you say to me, you know, I don't really have any fancy equipment for Zoom, so I don't really feel comfortable doing a class, I am using my cell phone. Here, this is my cell phone, and it's on this wobbly stand that I'm going to replace that I got from Amazon. And then I've got my my regular laptop, and that's it. I have a lamp that I've got set next to the wobbly stand, and so there's a little extra light. And that's it. There's really nothing special going on here. So even if you feel like you don't have the Equipment, I bet you do. I do like having two separate cameras. I'm a little shy about being on camera, but I think people like being able to see me, say hi to them. So if you have a computer and a cell phone, I think that you've got everything you need to go ahead and teach for us. I've got two more here. And then I'm going to actually, I'm really low on thread here, so I'm going to add a new thread before I go ahead and add this to the base. So there it is. I think that's going to be enough. Oh, that's plenty. See, there it is. I'm just going to go.
Great.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stitch that down. So I'll add a new thread and stitch that down and then turn it over to fringing.
So you just catch the bottom row of peyote and stitch and then go up and catch the next one. Is that the way you attach?
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Hmm.
adding another thread to show you that.
Okay.
Absolutely. So that is the way you do it, but you'll also see me do it in just a second as soon as I get my new thread on there.
I have to head out shortly. I have a book club and someone's picking me up, so
Right.
I'll have to
Yeah.
catch the rest of this on the.
Oh, I have a thread on this one that I can use. Okay, so I'll use that one. That's great. So hang tight. Hang tight.
Is this is available immediately on Facebook, isn't it?
Correct.
It will be available immediately on Facebook. I think
Mhm.
by immediately I think it takes about 5 minutes, but yes.
But I can restart it again because I'm going to have to bug out in a minute here too. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
absolutely. You could restart it already and then work up you to where we're at. But so yep, anytime they'll leave it on there for I think 30 days is their new rule.
okay.
And then in a few days, it'll be available on YouTube.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and it'll stay on YouTube. So once again, what I'm going to be doing is I got my thread here. I'm just going to go through a seed bead and then go through just above. Oh, I didn't, my seed beads are not well set in there. I didn't, what's the word I'm looking? I didn't get a good knot in there because I was rushing. So hopefully I can do this without my seed beads coming out. But I go through a seed bead. There it is. And then I just stitch down.
So you just catch the fabric in the zipper.
Right, exactly, right above the zipper. And then I'm going to go on to the next seed bead.
You're
There
off
it is.
camera again, sweetie.
Oh, sorry. There we go. And go to the next one. So I just go all the way around. So I'm just going to stitch that. There it is. So I'll stitch down and then catch this one. Whoops. And stitch down and then catch this one all the way around. And that's it. So that'll put it all together. All right. So I am going to now turn this over to Rochelle to talk about fringe. The fringe, the exact fringe, before I do that, sorry, honey.
No, I'm not
Exact
getting rid of
fringe.
you. You're still there.
The exact fringe that I've used is here on the back. There it is. It's on page 5. And it is this one right here is the exact fringe that I've used, that you have all the supplies in your kit. But the one here
is another option. I don't think you have drops or charms in the kit, but you do have all the supplies to make Rochelle's charm, which was the very last page of your tutorial, your kit tutorial. So there we go. All right. Now I'm going to turn it on over to you, Rochelle. Okay.
Super duper. So it is so much fun to make fringe. We definitely love every aspect about it. And so you get to make your own fringe the way you want. We're just going to give you a variety of options of how to maybe think outside the box that you've been doing for a while. And so on Hannah's thing, she's got the normal basic fringe where you just go straight down and then go straight back up. Well, if you want to do a fun little floret along the bottom, then that's why in your kit you do have some 6-0 demis. And what's a demi is a normal 6-0 seed bead, and then they cut it in half like a donut. So therefore, it's rounded on all sides, unlike an O bead or a spacer bead, which are flat on the top and bottom. These are round on all sides. So you get a little bit more dimension to things, and it's identical, same hole size and outer diameter as its friend. It's normal 6-0. The hole will be the same, but it's just going to be half as tall. So if you brick stitch around the outside of the edge of that little demi, it looks like a great floret. And so we're just going to add one bead around the end, and this would be after your last accent bead or something. So it's really a fun thing that you can do anytime. So that's why we gave you a bunch of different beads in there. And so we're going to stop sharing here, and then we'll show you how to do this great little fringe.
Well, let's get rid of, oh, thank you. That's exactly what
Yes.
I was going to suggest so that we could see
So
your
on
face.
Hannah's fringe, on the bottom of your cone, you have this beautiful hole on the bottom. Mine is a little bit larger because I've got the a little bit bigger zipper. But the idea is you have one nice big focal bead here, which covers up that hole and is going to nestle right in there. And then after that, we have an 8-0 seed bead. You could use a 6 depending on who you want. And then your fringes come out of that bead. So you're going to be sewing up each time through this focal bead and then attaching to the inside of the zipper, going back through to do these fringes on out. So if you pick this bead or this bead, make sure it has a hole big enough that you can at least go through twice as many fringe. So if you have 5 fringe, you're going to have to go through that bead 10 times. So just be mindful about the hole you're doing. You can do fringe without going through there, but it's less strong on your fringe. So you got to be just more gentle. So what we're going to do is I usually use just a comfortable length of thread, which is about 4 feet. And what I'm doing is the Diane Fitzgerald trick, where you just tie a knot in the bottom of your thread, and then you're going to, I didn't loop my thing to do that yet, so obviously that's why mine looks a little different. But I'm just going to start and get my knot right in the center here. So I'm going to come up from the bottom, just so I can have my knot wedged in there, and then my needle will come straight out of that hole. That's my goal. Otherwise, you can start on this basic tooth, and depending on where your teeth are, oops, I just went around the tooth and then I came back out the center hole. So just a tiny little stitch, just like you did there, but now your center is locked in there, and that knot in the middle, whether you're locking or looping that knot, now I have a nice double thread. My fringe will have double thread to begin with, so that way it'll be nice and strong. So what Hannah did with her counts, just because we like to have patterns of odd numbers in order to do our peyote as we come back up our fringe, you either want 3 or 5 beads in your count increments. So we added, okay, there's 3, so we want 2 more. So I'm going to do 5 of one color. And then we're going to add an accent bead or an 8-0, a 6-0. So that way we have a nice textural stopper. And then I'm going to add 5 more, which is a different color. If you add even numbers, then it doesn't peyote back the same way. But there's no right or wrong number, honestly. I just like my odd numbers. So then if you put your fringe outside of the hole, you're going to see how long it's getting, so then you can judge by your fringe. So I have 5 11s, 1 8, 5 11s, another 8, and then she did 3 11s, I believe, and then she just did her sizes like bigger, bigger, bigger. So I'm going to do a size 8 and then a size 6-0 demi, and then a fire polish, and then a 6-0 demi. Let's see what that looks like. Your fringe doesn't have to be like set in stone. You can easily just um get your colors on there, see how it's laying, and then you could change your mind if you didn't like it. But I like to repeat my colors of my fringe back. So if I have this color 8 on and then I have a demi, a fire polish, I usually repeat my little system backwards. So that way your eye will follow the pattern. So now I have a 6 on each side. I have framed that fire polish. Now we want to end with just a little bit bigger of a bead if you want to. So I'm going to do a 6-0 demi and then a giant 6-0 round. I've got, Hannah, did you give them 6s or 8s? I'm not sure.
I think I give them 6s. I can't
I
remember.
thought they were 6s, so that's why I was gonna use a 6. Just same, yep, same size. There you go. Mine just happens to be jade or something. It's a stone, but there's no reason why you can't do. So I'm gonna use the same bead on each side of that one as well, just for some balance. And then we're gonna start that really neat little brick stitch pattern. So now there's my fringe, and I would say that's about 2.5 inches long, 3 inches long, and then we're going to add this little fringe. So you add 1 11-0 and then one of your 6-0 demis. And this is your first start to, I usually brick stitch with my 11s around the 6-0 demi. So put 1 11-0 on and then one demi and hold on to your demi so that 11-0 just doesn't run right in the center. And so then what brick stitch is we're going to circle our giant demi and I'm going to go right back up into that 11-0 round. So my 11-0 round is going to sit with the holes facing upward from in between the demi. Let me get you a better picture there. So that the demi sits facing outward, the hole of the bead is on the demi and then upward. So then what we're going to do is we're going to circle this with a brick stitch all the way around. So I usually just wrap the seed bead or the thread around my finger to hold it out of the way. Pick up another 11-0. There you go. And then loop through your demi. And I pinch it with my finger just like this so that 11-0 doesn't go in the hole. And then I'm going to pass up through that 11-0 you just added so that you'll be going away from, and that new 11-0 is going to sit right next to its friend around that 6-0 demi. So just like 2 little Mickey Mouse ears, and now we're going to put more. So one bead at a time, we circle this. So I pinch it between my finger, add an 11, pass through the demi, and then go right back through the 11-0 upwards and outwards from that 6 demi. So now you have 3 of them on there, and we have a third of our flower. Depending on the size bead you're going around, you could use an 8 demi, you could use an O bead, any of those skinny little spacers you could use. It just has to have a hole big enough that you can go through like 15 times. That's all. So that's why these 6 demis are so nice. And so you'll probably get anywhere from 7 to 9 beads around a 6 demi. It just depends on the demi. Um, but it's pretty consistent. So once I have 4 or 5 of them on there, I have 5 right now. I'm going to just flip it over so that I'm always working. I always like to work clockwise. So this way I've held it on my finger. I can pinch it and control my thread by wrapping it around my finger so my thread will stay around my way. And I'm going to add the next demi on there, or pass through the demi and add the next 11. The only problem with working with double thread, remember, is you got 2 threads to straighten, 2 threads to smooth. So make sure you smooth it out after each and every single one. But this way you don't have to go through it again to restabilize it if you double your thread. But if you don't feel comfortable with the double thread, or you're just going to make a bunch of knots, save yourself the trouble and just go through it a second time. But once you get the hang of it, you can work faster. And so as we go around, we just spin it. So then each 11 is going to lay next to its other one. So pinch it with your fingers so that the seed beads stick outward. The hole sits on the bead and then sticks outward. Where in peyote, they sit sideways. So in brick stitch, they sit upright. So that's where, so we have just one more little space there. So we've got room for one more. We're going to stick one more. And remember, your thread color is seen because it's wrapping around the 6 demi. So you want to be using your complementary thread color. I'm using the khaki Toho 1G. So then after your very last one, you just want to connect that last 11 to the first one. So then we go down the first 11 that's right below your fringe, and then pass through the demi. Whoops, there you go. And then back up that first 11 and that way your new little fringe bead on the bottom, that floret, will be centered underneath the whole thing. So pull all your threads, make sure they're all straight, and then just pinch your little flower so then you can see the little flower right there at the end of your little accent beads. So as you work your way up, you could leave it straight if you wanted to, but these little empty, just straight parts, we're going to peyote as we go up. So once I go through my little accent beads here, I'm going to pass through my first 11 and then I'm going to add a bead. And I have a little segment of 3 right here. So we're going to skip the center and pass through the third in that little segment. So then when you peyote that little segment, it turns into this little cross once you pull that tight there. So that way, when you have 3, then you get those little crosses as you come back up. So my 8 is my sort of palette cleanser in between my little spacers. So I just pass through the 8 it gives texture. And then I'm going to pass through the very first 11 in my next little section here. And then we're going to peyote in this little section. So, and I'm going to use the same color I've got. That way So we went through one, we picked up one, we're skipping that one, going through the third. And then we pick up one, skip one, and then I go through the last. And then I'm also going to go through my 8-0, which is right in between my sections. Oops. There we go. So then this way we've got a fun little section of peyote in between each, and now I have my last one. So I do need to pass through the first bead in the 11-0 other section, and then pick up a bead in that color. What color was that? That was this brown. And then peyote up to here. And I just came right out of here with my 11 O's because I'm going to fill it with tons and tons and tons of fringe. Instead of using my bead, I decided that because I really want a lot more fringe, I won't be able to go through any one of these beads 12 times. So I'm not going to do it with that big bead right there. I'm just going to come out and do a whole bunch of fringe and go in and out and in and out. And this way, I can add as much fringe as I want to. And since I've got my same color thread, I'm just going to spike in between my different rows and then tack her down and then turn around and come right back up. So that way,
That'll really stabilize the fringe for
it
Rochelle.
really will. And
Yeah.
I'm really hard on my jewelry and my fringe. I wear these to Lotus beads all the time. So I just want to have it as sturdy as possible. So there's no right or wrong. It's just a whole lot of fun options of what you can do. And that's where you get to customize and, do all sorts of great things with what you're doing. Just creativity. And honestly, I don't think it takes that long, so
I love fringe. It uses up all the little odds and ends of bead. Well, everybody knows I love fringe, but it does. It uses up all the little odds and ends, and your fringe doesn't all have to be the same.
No, I'm gonna have some longer and shorter. And because this bead mix that I've got going on is like a jade 6 millimeter rounds, there's all sorts of different colors in that strand of beads. And of course, so I've got green ones, I've got brown ones, and so it's just really gonna be fun. So I probably will put, some more in the middle as long as you have the same colors, it's gonna look like you meant to do that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't wait to see if you end up using those crescents too. Those might be kind of.
Oh my gosh, I really like, and so that's where I was thinking on the crescents, I would probably do like horizontal, maybe scalloping on the edge, kind of like the last row you
Oh, that
did.
sounds fun.
So that way they stuck out. I know it's gonna fall over, but I was kind of thinking so they stuck out like over here. They looked a little bit more like fine jewelry findings,
Oh,
just
that
kind
sounds
of.
fun.
So that's the neat thing about any beads. Otherwise, I was going to put some ginkgos on the bottom of my fringes, and then you could have two florets on the bottom because you've got two holes, you know. So, otherwise, these giant crystals, they're just the top drilled. So that would be, you can't do a flower on the bottom of that. But they're just so big and sparkly. Why not have all kinds of fun things?
Well,
Um,
actually, I think you probably could do a floret at the bottom. Would you go ahead and spotlight me for a second?
yeah, how would you do that? Let me get you here.
Here, here's I think what I would do. Go
Because
ahead and
I'm always interested in how to.
add more fringe. Anyway, let me show you how. I think I would. Can you spot? There we go. So if my here's my demi, right? Oh, I'm not on. There we go. There's my demi. Oh, that's nice and round, right? And I've gone around. I've started up here and I've gone around with my brick stitch, right?
Yeah.
And I come down to the bottom one, I could go down like this, and now I could add like a fringe here.
Oh, so put the drop at the bottom of the floret.
Right. So it's at the bottom, but I've gone through. So here's the seed beads.
Uh-huh.
Right. I add a seed bead. I go down, and then I can come out. I could add a whole other fringe there if I wanted to, and then I could continue all
Wow,
the
you
way on the.
totally could. Oh my gosh, what a great idea.
Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Like that.
Yeah.
So you could totally like add the floret and that little crystal at the same time.
See, there's always a way to add more sparkles.
Absolutely. Let me show you something while I'm highlighted. While you were doing your fringe, I started to embellish.
Oh, nice.
So here you've seen that I embellished with a little bit of size. These are size 4s, but and now I'm going ahead and remember I said that I cover that sort of seam where you can see with a little bit more stitching in the ditch. Here I've added, I'm using magatamas, but I've just go ahead and I come out of a bead. I add my magatama and I go into the next one here, and it just covers up that little seam.
I love it. I've got Megatamas here too. That's a great
Right.
idea.
But you don't have to use Maggie. You could use size 11s in a different color. You could use from your
Right.
kit. You could use some size 8s. You could use the size 6s. I just happen to have magatamas here, so they're
Yeah,
there.
because on this
So,
sample, you use size 8s in that spot. Yeah.
right, exactly. So that is, I think that covers everything from the class. Do you want to talk about fringe a little bit more, or do you think we're set?
I don't know. Did anybody want to show us what you've got going on there with your projects? Who's at home beating away? What did you get? How far did you get, Paulette?
I'm not working on my fringe yet. I have to figure out which beads. I mean, I have a great kit here, but I like your idea of adding maybe a stone in there or
Mhm.
something else. So I have not done my fringe.
Oh, that's okay.
Well,
So
that's really cool that we gave you all kinds of ideas to
Yeah.
do different things. So that way, we got you thinking.
right. And we love it when you customize. If you guys, when you get finished, if you want to go ahead and send us a photo, we'd love to go ahead and feature it on our Upper Midwest Bead Society page.
Mhm.
And so any, not just any pieces from our Saturday Bead Live, but if you finish a piece, for instance, Bernie, you could send us that a picture of that lovely cuff that you've got.
Mhm.
We'd love to feature anything by any of our members anytime. So just
Yeah.
send it to us and we will post them. If it's your design, that's great. Just let us know. But if it's someone else's design, you can also tell us the name of the designer. And
Mhm.
sometimes we can even then put a link if other people want to make that project.
Yeah. Because show and tell is one of the best parts about beading is.
I know it really is.
Yeah,
It gets
beads
all
have
kinds of ideas.
great show and tell. And I like when people show things that they've made, or maybe they took a class from a designer, but then they changed it up a little bit.
Mhm.
Oh,
That
we
gives
love that.
ideas for speakers because
Absolutely.
we're all searching on the internet, we're searching on Facebook, on Instagram to see what kind of beaters are out there or other artisans that we can actually spotlight and have as speakers, or some of them do the Let's Be Live. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we all want to share with each other and just keep on beating. That's what this is about, is
Right.
inspiring each other and keep on going. And so we look forward to seeing you all at our December holiday party. So make sure you put it on your calendars, Monday, December 1st, and check out our last 2 days of our fundraiser. It is on Upper Midwest Bead Society Facebook page. And so it's donating for our Peace Ring charity. And then also join our peace ring project. So start making peace rings. And if you need help with your project to get your group more beads, let us know. And otherwise, come see us at the Mall of America every Wednesday from 2 to 5. And we've got so much fun. Check everything out, umbs.org. And we're so happy you could join us today. Everybody, happy beading.
Bye now.
Yay! We'll see you later, everybody. Peace.
Bye now. Peace. Thanks for everything.
Bye.
Oh, look at that.